Joseph R. Wheeler III, the artist, the founder, the president of the ONYXCON Foundation, representing from that metro. I said metro. Did I say metro? I've been listening to too much West Coast hip hop. He's like, from that metro. just taking the syllables different way. I've been playing that cube too much. Oh my gosh. Representing from that metro ATL, you know what it is, what it ain't, what it gonna be like. What's up, what's up? So let's get into it, y'all. What's happening? It's a Monday. We back on the grind as usual. It ain't nothing, it ain't never stop around here. It don't never stop around here. Ain't no days off. There may be a day with a little less, but ain't no days off when it comes to the work. Oh, hell to the no. No, it's what? Mandatory goals and glory, okay? Mandatory goals and glory. Mandatory goals and glory. Are you with me? Are you with me? All my workers out there, shout out. All my workers, we getting it in, you know what I'm saying? We gotta do it. We gotta do it until we can do only what we love to do. Because we doing what we love to do regardless. Why you think I'm talking to y'all? I love doing this, man. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't go live every day. I really love it. Even when I don't sometimes feel like it, I find something to talk to y'all about. Even when I don't have, you know, and usually it ain't never hard for me to find something to talk about. I'm a talker. I'm a writer. I'm a thinker. Yeah, that's the difference. You know, you ever been around people who tell you, if you're somebody who likes to speak a lot, speak your mind, people tell you, man, you talk, man, you always talking. No. But are you an intellectual? And the main reason they don't want to hear you talk is because you're making them think too, and they only want to use their smooth brain capacity, because you know if your brain ain't got no wrinkles in it, you're not a thinker, because the more creases and wrinkles in your brain, that shows deep thought. I'm sure my brain looked like a 5 zillion piece puzzle. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like that. But, you know, people who don't think, they don't like to hear people thinking. They don't like to hear people talking, because it makes them remember that they're not a thinker. So you just remember that next something. If you're a thinker, if you're an intellectual, if you got something to say, some people always want to quiet you down and everything. First of all, you need some new people around you. And that's hard to do in a world full of so many stupid people. Because there's a lot of dumbasses out here, you know what I mean? A lot of them, you understand? Very, very one-track type individuals. You know, they don't, you know, 2 brain cells, they rub them together every day, and you tell them, well, that should equal 4, and they'd say it equals 3 because they just that goofy. Yeah. What's up to 3 in the building? Let's get them thumbs up. Let's get if you stay long enough to hear what I got to say, put a thumb on it, okay? Let's get the thumbs up, please. Thank you. We need the likes always. That's how the algorithm works. That's what makes it do what it do. Now we got 4 in the building. We need 4 thumbs up. I always say, however many people looking at me, that's how many thumbs up I need to see, all right? If y'all could do it twice, I'd ask for that. So this is how we gonna double up. This is how we gonna double up, because I've been looking at the statistics of the channel as I always do, and I'm always trying to add to the formula that I already know works. But it's hard when you're doing the way I'm doing it with this multi-niche format, and it ain't gonna change. That part is for absolute sure. I'm not going to ever, well, never can say never, but let's just say I have no intentions of dropping everything else that ONYXCON is about to focus on one thing that ONYXCON is about. When we say multi-niche, we're gonna be remembered as one of the pioneers of the phrase. Matter of fact, I am. Okay, you see the hashtag, you hear people start saying it, because ain't nobody saying it now, but I know this has happened to me before in my life. I tell people all the time, and you know, people be like, boy, you really lofty about what you think. You just think you created everything. No, I don't think I created everything, but I know what I did create. When I innovate things, I know I know the power of what I said and what I created. The hashtag ArtLife, ARTLIFE, first ever in social media. How do I know? If you can think back far enough to when before Facebook allowed hashtags. And then when they first started using hashtags, because there was a time when you didn't use, you know, they didn't have that on Facebook. A lot of people can't remember that far back, but some of y'all may have been just born. The world just keeps getting younger, and we keep getting wiser. Shout out to all my peoples in their 50s, mid 40s, 50s, and 60s, and older. You know what I mean? Y'all understand what I'm talking about. But when they first implemented that, I did a live drawing session one time with a friend who was hosting these types of events, and it was live drawing, model, you know what I'm saying, drawing that type of thing. And this is so far back, I was still in the situation I was in with who became my ex. So I was still married at the time. So that's how far back I know this was. This is some real, this has become ancient history, right? And I put up a post from that evening. I put up a post of us all drawing and everything. Somebody took a picture of us. I'm in the picture. Somebody was across the room, took a shot of everybody who was drawing. It was a really cool pic. One of them historic pics. One of them pics that you look back and you're like, man, this is real. This is some real history right here. This is like, you know, it may have just been a moment at the time, but later on, that's gonna be like a photo of Picasso and whoever his contemporaries were in a room and they were drawing, and that's the level of that image, right? And so I put hashtag, this is when you can first start using hashtag on Facebook, and I said art life, like that's where we live. You know, y'all out here all this other stuff, and folk done created all these things that they went against their own art life. Rest his soul, Tupac, sure enough, artist, but got caught up in thug life. And thug. So I was like, you know, I see all this bad, foul, twisted energy around and how people get so lost in all that. And that's where the thought came from. I said, man, I represent art. I'm living that art life. How about that? So I put that on the post. And at the time, a few people, I remember every time I would use it, you know, here's another thing. At one time, you wouldn't necessarily be able, as I remember it, you couldn't check the stats of a hashtag. There was a time when you couldn't, you know, you start typing in a hashtag and you can see how many other people are using that, so you know which ones to use that are going to draw people to your stuff. And you can see that, oh man, this joint is 3 million people don't use that. So yeah, let me use that one versus this other one I was thinking about using that's only 20,000. Of course, always, that's a little tip for my YouTubers and anybody doing social media. Always use every hashtag that's millions, and Lord forbid you found one that's a billion, because they're rare. They're rare. The only one I've even found so far on here, excuse me, is shorts. Do you know shorts is over 1 billion? Straight up. 1 billion. It's over 1 billion. It's like that, seriously. And yeah, so they exist. There are those hashtags. What's up? What's up? People showing love. I appreciate that. I just realized I didn't have my filters up, but I don't mind it. To get some genuine love. I'll take it, appreciate it. You know, now we're gonna have to put the filters up. That was my reminder that you ain't got no filters up right now. You letting everybody talk. I don't do that usually. I don't have open chat. I would like to for my positive people who good energy. But here's my advice to y'all: if you're not a subscriber yet, you got to be a subscriber. If you really love the channel, you got to be a subscriber, because if you're not a subscriber, you can't speak. And you gotta be a subscriber for at least like 10, 20 minutes. That's how I set my gauge. And most people ain't gonna hang around that long. So that's how I filter out. That's another tip. That's another tip. That's how you filter out the trolls and stuff. Because trolls just can't wait to say something negative. They may even start off saying something good and then they get stupid because they, you know. But that's a good way to do that if you want to keep that nonsense up out your energy and keep yourself balanced, because, you know, that bad energy is something not to be played with. I say all the time, if you ain't got to see it, you ain't got to even engage in it. And block is the most beautiful button ever created. I love the block button. I love that block button. Just swank, just woo, slice and dice, baby. Cut them every which way but loose. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's more than words. Don't make it a verb. I swear. Anyway, but yo, we do it like this, y'all. If you're doing this thing and you're in it to win it, you got to keep a certain amount of numbers. It's the sad reality. It's sad because it keeps you chasing the wrong thing. I'm here to create, man. I shouldn't have to worry about, bump the numbers. You know, my creativity is valuable in and of itself. So if this thing were really everything it's supposed to be, once people have a certain amount of followers, that alone should tell the algorithm, this person's worthy of ads, and then hell with all this damn watch hour bullshit. It's just a way of filtering out who they think is going to stick around and keep posting. If it's that serious, and since it is like a job to so many of us who do it that seriously, you know what I mean? Oh man, somebody. Oh, hold up! I just seen the flag, so I got to shout out República Dominicana. What's up, Dominica? Let me try to say it as fast as them DJs be saying. Dominica, 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 Dominicana. What? Yay! What's that? What's up? What's up? Pedro say he must be a subscriber for real because he can speak. Homie say, Pedro Luis El Cantara. First of all, tell me where I met you in DR because I done forgot. I met so many good people in DR, or RD, should I say, because I like to say it the way y'all really officially say it. Asking me when am I coming back, bruh? Oh my gosh, I dream of República Dominicana every day. I swear, that's not flattery. That's honesty. Like, I have my screensaver on my phone 90% of the time. Every now and then I'll switch it to something else, but 90% of my time, of the time since I took that trip last year, and that was last year, July, that's my screensaver. Them palm trees, that beach, what I saw in Samana. Like, straight up, that's heaven on earth, man. That is a very, Haiti is a special island. Shout out to its original full name, not just the side that Haiti is, because that's where the name Haiti comes. Haiti is from Haiti, but that used to be the whole name of the entire island. A little wisdom for everybody who want to know real truth. But yeah, man, I dream of Haiti all the time. I want to go back all the time. Shit. Part of me lives there already. Keyword already. You know what I'm saying? I promise. It's definitely on the list of places I'd love to have a residence. And that's another reason to get this thing right, to get this thing cooking for real, what it need to be. But yeah, my question is like, where'd I meet you? If I'm thinking I met folks at the airport that was cool to help me out when I was having issues with my flight. I'm thinking I met folks who were cool at restaurants and different, oh my gosh, everywhere. I mean, you know, the honeys I was chopping it up with, that's my, ladies first, 24/7. But I met a lot of good people, period. You know what I mean? I always tell the story, and it's in my videos. Anybody want to see what I'm talking about? All the receipts are there. You can watch my videos. But I always say, man, I got the most respectful experience of dealing with police that I've ever had in my life. I've never met so many cool, and it was all young cats. All these cats was like 20 to 30 at max. And everybody was super respectful, even though it's a total language barrier. I mean, my Spanish is poquito, poquito, poquito. Like, I don't really speak a lot. Like, I just know little words, and I can get by with that and say little phrases and things that people understand what I mean, and I got good body language. But, man, I was lost one time, didn't know where the hell I was at. My signal was dead on my phone. Met this whole pack of young officers. When I say pack, I was like, it had been about 10 dudes. Everybody was cool as hell, and they gave me a ride on one of their motorcycles. It was like a presidential entourage. They literally took me to the ATM and would not leave till I was finished getting my money. Like, dude stood outside the door like he was my personal bodyguard. Like, ain't nobody touching Mr. Wheeler. And after I got my money and came out, shook his hand. Only then did they leave, but they had my back. So, man, I've never had that kind of experience with any form of police in America. Like, I know a couple of cops that are cool, like personally know them. And I've had a couple of experiences where it wasn't stupid and ugly and weird and all the nonsense that you often hear about with what black men go through in this country. But I'm gonna tell you, to be in another country and not even be speaking the language for real and be treated like that, like with respect, and it was like uncle respect too. It wasn't, that's the other thing that's so wrong with what's going on in America. Like, I say all the time, like, man, do you not see these grays in my chin? Like, that's kind of my go-to phrase for when folk get silly with me, you know, younger folk especially. And I don't care how old they are. If you younger than 50, if you younger than 45, your ass is young to me. Even if you 40, yeah, I'm 40, man. Yeah, okay, well, good luck on getting to 50. Congratulations. You know, it's like, that shit don't impress me. It's like people within my direct range, and I'm especially speaking of other men. I'm saying how men respect each other. Women, that's pretty general. That's gonna always, most women gonna respect me. That's just off the bat. Most women like me, so that's just, I don't have to worry about that. Every now and then you get a, you know, sassy, nasty, bad attitude, whatever, and that can't be healed. That's just a mental problem. But for the most part, ladies love me, so I don't have no issues there. But I'm saying with dudes with their little chips on their shoulder, trying to challenge older gentlemen, always trying to buck up on somebody. They think that that's what makes them a man, and they don't understand that's what'll get your ass gone. But I'm saying I've never had so much instant the way you think it should be, the way it is in other places. Like, you really, whatever your calling card is, your facial, what you look like, it made me not even want to dye my beard or nothing. Because sometimes I think about, oh man, I might want to dye it a little bit just to get some of the gray. I like my grays, but my main concern is my mustache. I want this to stay black. I want it to stay black like my eyebrows. Like, I'm cool with this. I love all this, but I want this right here and this bridge. I need that black. Maybe this little soul patch too. But I thought about playing with that, but more and more, I don't even know if I want to mess with it. Because like I say, if I get to the right people, that's your instant respect thing. Because I know how young I look if I did it all black. I'd be back to 30. Like, people talk that shit, but I know how young I look because I've been in the film business long enough and had folks do that on set. And as soon as they put that black on, that, temporary, man, please. It's like an instant reaction where people look at you like, damn, like, what the hell? You reverse the clock back to 10 to 15 years ago? Yeah. But, in reality, when you just come in with what you got naturally, I'm saying other countries, people are taught to respect their elders, and they still generally do. I ain't saying they ain't got some of the same issues, but generally they do. If you're older than me, instant respect, period. It's, I might joke around with you, but I'm gonna shut it up real quick if you let me know I done went too far. I love that shit. That's the way it ought to be. That's the way I was raised. That's what I expect the older I get. And that's another reason why I'm like, man, to hell with staying here and complaining. And like, people always talking about, it's so crazy. Man, we ain't got this. We don't have that. We live on the earth. Did you know that? I don't care what your license say. You live on earth. That's a residence. That's taxes. That's who you got to pay taxes. That's all. That's all that really means. That's all that is. Your existence, you're on the earth. Okay? This whole planet is yours if you really want to love it. That's the way I look at that. And that's why I love travel. And that's why I like going other places where, even with the language and cultural barriers, and people they give you that other kind of respect that I miss that's more common. I'm not saying nobody here still does it. There's plenty of people in America that still agree with everything I'm saying and want to see that more reinforced. But it also got to come with all this. We already know in America, man, the minute you bring up anything in resistance, it's like, are you ready to take some heads for that? Because, like, that's the mentality of this sicko, weird-ass, fools ain't got no real nuts. They running around with guns. And, and I'm not against guns. I'm cool with guns. I'm not cool with stupid people having them, okay? That's my problem. That's everybody's problem. And what's really goofy is, it's like I heard somebody say the other day about all this gun violence, saying, can we just be honest? And it's been said many times, but it was just the way this person put it. I'm trying to remember who said it. I'm just some celebrity. I can't remember. I watch, you look at so much stuff when you're swiping and scrolling, you see so much you can't, and that's on purpose. They don't want you to be able to focus in a day. You have to take your own notes if you want to remember anything, because you're going to see a zillion images and you don't even realize. Like, if you really took account of how much shit you look at in a day from looking at social media, it would blow your mind. All you gotta do is look at how many hours you're on the phone. And if you if you're doing it like I'm doing it for business, you on the phone at least 10, 13 hours. It's like being on set for a movie. Like, we always joke in the film business, oh, you there for at least 12 to 13, sometimes 14. We always say that, and it's true. A good short day in the film business, man. You mean we really gonna get out of here in 8 hours? Or 10 even? But it ain't nothing to be there for 12 hours. That's average, right? When it was cooking. Like I say, that's not even happening right now. But anyway, my point is, the brother was saying something, and he said, man, there's so many damn guns and so many hot-headed people that don't know how to control their tempers and their mental capacity and everything. And they just steady, collecting all these arsenals. And like they say, like, how many, I like weaponry for various reasons, right? And it's more about the art of the thing itself, the object, the look of it, the power of it, the whatever. That type of stuff is what has been my thing with that part of life. But even with that, I know people who have personal arsenals, and I know people who may have only one or two things. The bottom line is, It only takes one of them projectiles to take somebody out. And there's no, like, it becomes an obsession of fear. It's like a bunch of scary ass people who can't exist without it, who are so always paranoid that they're going to need it for the worst case scenario. And then they're not truly tactically prepared for any real case scenarios. All my friends who are true military, and mostly military, I don't know a lot of folk law enforcement, but I know a lot of military folk, a hell of a lot. And all of them, it's just a different energy about, it cracks me up how everyday people who just hot-headed and got their opinions and walk around talking about what they're going to do, and they're not ready for situations, man. They're not ready. And I'll say this, being not trained professionally or formally, I'm not trying to claim that I'm ready for no, I don't want no smoke like that. I don't want civil war and unrest and anarchy. I don't want zombie apocalypse. People joke all the time about this shit. But if it really came down, most people don't want it and they're not ready. Now, here's the thing. Not wanting it is one part. Not ready goes in other levels. My perspective on that is I'm not trying to complain. I don't think anybody's ever 100% ready. I just know that I'm at least 60% ready mentally, because I'm not aloof to the level of dumb energy that it exists right now that can be that scary thing that could turn into anarchy and unrest, because people are just not governing themselves or being respectful of each other in the basic ways. So that alone is enough to create any kind of chaos without it being politically and nationally, socially charged. They could just be right in their damn families, how folk treating each other, right in their backyard, right in their damn neighborhood. It's been drama. But then you multiply that times cost of goods, cost of living, people starting to feel like, man, am I really about to be homeless? Do I really have to go and live with my parents again? And I'm grown as hell. And man, you add all that up and you got some ticking time bombs. You hear me? Hold tight. Yeah, so, so you add all that up and then you think how they say there's more weapons in America, specifically guns, than there are people. In the most irresponsible, hot-headed, obnoxious, self-entitled, undereducated, for the masses, I'm not speaking to everybody, for not the masses, not everybody, excuse me, but for too much of the masses fit each of these categories I'm talking about, if not one. They might miss some of the other ones, like, miss some, but they're going to hit others. And then you add all this aggression and silly, man, it's not good, not good, not good. In the past few years, I've noticed every single store I go in the Atlanta area, and I mean all the metro. I don't care how, I always say the true metro to me is not start at that Capitol Gold Dome in the city, start at the airport, because that's what's the real heartbeat, the real true heart of Atlanta. Yeah, that airport. And you don't believe, if you're from Atlanta, you amening me right now. You just, yep, well, wow, you know what I'm talking about. Because in my whole lifetime, I think I can count less than 5, maybe 3 major accidents that shut down the expressway near that airport. They don't play that. It's almost like there's an energy over there. Like, don't you have no? You can act the fool and talk about how bad the traffic is and people don't know how to drive and we're gonna act crazy. You ain't gonna have no damn accident in front of that airport. You ain't about to shut down the flow to that damn airport. I know that in and out of that airport, the busiest airport in the country, one of the busiest in the world, if not the busiest still, I think. You ain't doing that. And it's for a reason. That's commerce, man. That's real business. That's the true money. That's global tide money, right? So, like I say, within reason of that, anywhere in that metro area, it's gotten to the point where I can remember I would go in the city and see this. You would see armed guards in every damn store. I'm talking, you just go in the grocery store. What's this dude at the front with damn bulletproof vest and stun gun and the 9? And sometimes not just the Glock, they got the freaking, the stick, okay? The AR-15s. I'm like, at the what? Who? How many? What are they, armed people running out of here with Captain Crunch? Like what? What you shooting folk just running out with a turkey and tripping in the parking lot? Like what? Why do we need? Huh? And then you go to the other type stores. Your I don't even want to name this store. I'll just say the Bullseye. You know what I mean? The one that's still on the radar for we don't go in there. We still got them on protest. You know what I'm talking about? Right. And this has been years ago, but I can remember this is way before all the protests and everything. Again, armed guards up in there. And don't let it be nighttime. It might be two or three of them up at the front to let you know. As soon as you walk in, they want you to see that presence and know. You go to any type of assistance-based or government-structured building, office, whatever, so have you. Now, those you always had somebody, but it just seemed to be a little different back in the day. When I say back in the day, I'm talking about first time I ever in my life had to apply for unemployment. I can remember being over in the flatlands near Adamsville, Atlanta. Everybody at ATL know what I'm talking about. Right there on MLK. At that, oh my gosh, one of the worst offices ever. And I just remember standing there wasting at least an hour to 2 hours of my life waiting to just get to the front of that line and speak to some rude person that give you 2 bits of information and send you on your way and treat you like you ain't nobody and all that other craziness they do. And I remember, there was a security guard or whatever, but they just sat off at the corner and they, if there were phones, we didn't have phones like we do now back then, but this story I'm talking about, this was still probably a flip phone era. But whatever they were doing, they could have been playing a crossword puzzle or some shit, But now, no, you walk in the door and there's somebody sitting at a desk right when they want you to see when you first walk in. If you mad about your application or anything else, hello, just calm down first. Just simmer down now. They letting you know when you walk in the door. It's crazy, man. It's like that. So I'm saying, with that being the standard issue of energy everywhere now, wow. And, it doesn't bother me when those people who are in those positions of pretentious authority at least understand, hey, I'm still a human being, he's a human being. So you come in, they greet you, they speak to you like they got some sense. And that makes it different. I'm like, okay, cool. All right. We can work with this, At least I know this person's starting off right. And then, I'm thinking of an incident recently where I had to deal with some paperwork, and went into one of these type of establishments, and the security person was right there when you first walk in. They were very professional, sir, if you just have a seat right here, they'll call you in there ready. I said, okay, thank you, sir, appreciate you. And then while I'm waiting, I had to fill out something. While I'm filling out something, first he was good. He was the same security guard. He was on his phone. And then out of nowhere, this just reminded me of little kids. When I say little kids, not truly kids, but young folks on set when I would do a lot of background work in the film biz. I used to hate doing cattle calls with a bunch of people because if they needed kids, young folk, man, I'm telling you, they'd be up in there. It would never fail. In the morning when you first get there, everybody kind of chill, whatever, the usual loud reunions. Oh my gosh, it's you, hey girl, I ain't seen you, hey, what's up, homie? That's cool. I love that energy. But I'm saying, as the day go on, then the people who don't really know each other, they're sitting next to each other, been talking to each other long enough, somebody get on a topic that the other person don't like what their point of view was. Lord forbid they were talking about politics or sports or something like that. And now there's almost an argument, and the PA got to come over and check them and tell them, hey, now, look, y'all need to work this out or you're going to have to leave because we're not doing this, And somebody, I'll leave because you rap me down, man, because I'll beat your ass. Yeah, it didn't happen a lot, but I saw it enough. Then there'd be the other scenarios where, then there could be the other scenarios. The other scenarios would be where somebody would always have their damn music all loud. Somebody had their damn music loud, right? And it would always be somebody's cell phone where they don't have or they do have earbuds, but for whatever reason, they just decide to hit the button without the earbuds. And now you listening to they loud ass ratchet trap music, cussing this, saying that, saying okay. And then there's elders present too, not just your little young goofy friends who will be like, "Ooh, that's my jam," and love it. No, there's people who looking across the room like, "What the hell? Like, we gotta sit here and listen to this shit." You know, and every now and then he would get to the point where somebody go, either come up to him and tell him, "Hey, you need to cut that down," or a PA would do it. You know, but the sad part is a lot of times some of the PAs was young, so they ain't bothered by it because this they jam, so they just fine with the stupidness. And it's like, yeah, but goof ass, what you listening to ain't everybody else got to listen to, and that go for any damn thing. I'm not trying to be in no place and somebody cut on some loud ass Garth Brooks. I don't want to hear that shit. That's your stuff. That don't mean I want to hear it. Keep your damn earphones on. Respect people around you, man. It's just basics. It's just basics. And we all make the mistake of, you know how Instagram is. It's notorious for this. You can have all your volume down. You go on Instagram, oh my gosh, it's gonna start blasting the first video, and you, oh damn, you know, I can't count the times that happened to me, to the point where I don't even, if I'm looking at Instagram and I'm on a set, on a movie set, or any place where I need to be quiet, I just instantly pull the volume down before I even go into Instagram. Or as soon as I go in, because you got to be in it for it. It's like it controls your volume by itself. Once you get in it, just immediately pull that down. Nope, no sound. I don't want to hear nothing, because it's gonna get you jacked up. You gonna end up looking like that person that you don't want to be, you know. And it's just uncalled for, man. So back to the story. The security guard dude, suddenly his phone started all loud. He listening to Stephen A. And you know how that crazy nut is, how loud he is, and it's almost like, and I'm looking like there's barely anybody in the place, but still, like, I'm filling out something, I'm trying to concentrate, I don't want to make no mistakes on this government tied form or whatever this is I got to do, so I don't want no mess now. I want to make sure my stuff go through, and you over here blasting this shit, like, man, nobody want to hear this, talking about the fight and how great this dude is. I mean, yeah, he's a hell of a fighter. Congratulations, you know, to the champ of champs. He done won all the damn belts. He the king of everything. I hear you, great. But right now, that's so irrelevant right this moment. And not to mention, even if I wanted to know about it, I don't need to be listening to it right now. It's breaking my concentration. It's disrespectful, because it's like, yo, it ain't all about you. You know, it's so, and that's the problem. That phrase right there, all about you. Just, I never get somebody of great respect and wisdom once said, and I would name him, but I can't, because out of respect for it. It's somebody I know through family, and they could care less about being named like that, so it ain't about that. But they said, you know what ghetto really is? When people be talking about, that's so ghetto, this ghetto, that ghetto. Now, first of all, before I say this, ghetto is a word from the Jewish language, okay? It's from Yiddish, and it basically means any community with a collective of people that have a lot in common. They have this, that, and that. They do similar common things together. There's a relatability amongst them in that area. So that means any rich neighborhood, poor, it don't matter about your economy, it don't matter about your education, it don't matter about your level of ratchetness. The true meaning of ghetto is anywhere there's a lot of whoever those people are. And they don't have to be one racial construct, because that's what constructs are, races, okay? They could be black, white, Latin, everybody in the neighborhood, but if they all act in a certain way, do a certain type of thing, mostly, you know, there's always the minority of people who ain't got nothing to do with the majority. But if majority stands out and says, this is who we are over here and how we do it, that's that ghetto, right? So anyway, but the phrase has evolved into these other meanings, and this other meaning is that it's always downtrodden, it's the worst, it's the most backwards, uneducated, ratchet, unsafe area you could be, the ghetto, right? So she said, you know what ghetto really is when it comes to the attitude that comes from that energy? She said, ghetto is having no consideration for others. That's what the true definition is. And I love that, because it's like, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. If you don't have consideration for other people at the head of a nation, breaking up families, destroying actual history, supporting backwards things and pushing lies, then you ghetto with your ghetto ass. Hit the love.